they move them all, move everybody's things all around. So they can use windows.
Agenda Council Workshop, April 21st, 2022, 5:30 p.m. We are going to start the work session with a work session format.
So I've had several comments from council members, and I'm going to turn down the sound just a tad. That's better. As to our council, our workshop format, in it starts at 5:30, ends at 6:30, and sometimes we don't get enough time to discuss, such as when we had the solar project and the bike lane study. So I'm asking the council for different options. The options that we have are hold the work sessions on a different night, which is, oh, I don't have that up. Okay. To hold the council meetings on a different night. And one of the suggestions is that on the second and fourth Thursdays, but I know that some council members have other obligations on those nights. Another option is to start the council meetings at 5:30 and then hold the work session afterwards. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that we'll be here until 9:30, but depending upon the topics, but it gives us an opportunity to not have to cut somebody off during a presentation or for greater discussion. The other option would be to have it on not a Thursday night, but on a different night in order to accommodate schedules. But if the council wants to make those changes, I'm willing to go ahead and do that. It's either that or what it is limit the topics. I try to limit the number of topics knowing there's an hour, but not knowing sometimes how long people might want to discuss an item. So it's either that or what I do is I put one topic on there and one topic only, especially if it's one I think is going to be a lengthy discussion. So I'd like some feedback, and then we can, staff can make some adjustments. Is there? Well, what we've done is in the past at workshops, we have not, unless it's something like they're presenting a program or they're part of a group is discussing something. That's the only time we've taken comments from the public. From the council meeting? What we would do is we would ask them to comment on the council meeting items at the council meeting.
She means
Right, but so you mean so the
If they
work
saw the
session,
workshop,
if they wanted to comment on the work session, certainly they could at citizens' comments. But again, what it is the work session is really just for the council to have a discussion. That's the way we've always framed it. No, we wouldn't necessarily do that because Okay. I mean, we can add that. It's just, like I said, the work session is really for the council to discuss the items, and not necessarily to have multiple speakers.
Well, is it appropriate for citizens to comment on a topic in the council meeting when we are in our discussion of that same topic?
Right, but
Because
council member.
I think that's what Councilwoman.
Well,
Garcia is
no,
doing.
no, no, actually what she's asking is that, well, during the workshop
Correct.
is to be able to comment and ask questions during the workshop, which we have not traditionally done because it's really a time for the council to discuss the issue and staff to present things rather than having a full debate with citizens' comment.
You're right, I'm just saying.
During council meetings? Yes. If the item is on the agenda, we've allowed them to speak during the agenda item. Yeah.
I'm happy to do either way where we get more time to discuss. I do feel like some of our discussions have been limited. And then we've also like had a lot of special meetings. And I think there are a lot of circumstances surrounding all of those. They were, warranted and stuff like that. But I mean, either way, I just would like to have more time to discuss here, since this is the forum that's the only place we can discuss. So I want not unlimited time, but I do want more time. I don't want to be cut off to ask questions. And then like what you brought up, we're seeing solar again on this workshop. We'll probably see bike again on another workshop coming up soon, which means they're hitting twice anyway. So to alleviate that pressure, if we had more time to discuss, it would be better instead of seeing them over and over again, drawing out the process.
I would agree with Councilman Nguyen on trying to see how it would play out with flipping it. I think that is an efficient use of our time because we have workshops where we're done in 20 minutes and then we wait for the meeting to start. And in those instances, we would just be done when the workshop's done. And then like Linda's talking about here, we've got workshops where we run out of time. And in that case, then we're not tied down to a bookend finish time. So it can be efficient for us in both manners.
So would anyone have a problem with starting the regular meeting then at 5:30 with the workshop to follow?
And the workshop wouldn't have a set time. It's just going to be
Right.
follow.
Right.
That was my only concern, that we've had some meetings where we've gone into closed session. We're an hour and a half. And I didn't really see a good point of setting a workshop time. Just have it as fall, I think would probably be the most flexible.
Right. The way the way the agenda for the workshop would be is immediately following the regular meeting. Right. And if we felt that there was a topic that was going to take the regular meeting quite a long time, we could always just opt not to have a work session at that time.
Yeah, I think just being mindful of that when you're making the agenda, when you guys are making the agenda,
Right.
be mindful of it. And I think that's fine.
Okay. All right. So then that's what we'll try. There probably needs to be a change in the ordinance for the council meeting starting time to make it official. So we will probably not start it next meeting, but we will do it as soon as we can get an ordinance to you and have that passed. Okay?
Okay, item number 2, discussion on solar panel project. That's you, Robert.
So we had a presentation at a council meeting here not too long ago. We did not get to finish it. They have contacted me and want to know if we are wanting to move forward with this. I'm wanting input. I've asked for a facilities committee times and dates. I haven't heard anything back, so I'm wanting to know if the council wants to pursue this, if we want to have a facilities committee meet with Moorfield and discuss it. Do we want to let it die? What do we want to do? The problem that I have with it, this is a 25-year commitment. That's a long time for me to be comfortable making a recommendation without more discussions. I have some questions about it.
I also sent in a email list of a lot of questions,
Yeah.
and I haven't heard back the answers, so
Because we haven't met with them, that's
Yeah.
what I'm waiting to see. I was wondering if there is any questions that the council wants, do you want to give me those questions? Do you want me just to have a meeting without anybody else involved in it and bring that recommendation back to you? How do we want to proceed with it? Do you want Moorfield to come speak to the council again?
I'd prefer that. I would prefer to, it got cut short. We all seem to have some questions. I think I was fully expecting them to be here tonight. I'm slightly disappointed they're not, but I get it. You know, you brought it to us because they were contacting you. I'd prefer to see them again.
Okay.
With a presentation and hopefully on a night that we have some time.
Okay.
I definitely don't want to let it die. I'm interested.
Yeah, and if we had that on a night where the workshops have been changed, we can have the time to
Sure.
discuss that and bring a list of questions that we have. That would
Okay.
Because I know you've got
Yes,
some.
right.
List, I've got some, so.
Do we also want to look at having somebody else come give us a presentation? Do we want to just go with Moorfield? What's the thoughts there? There is other companies out there that would give us
Yeah,
an
in fact-
option.
In fact, the day after that meeting, I was contacted by another company out of Burlington. So, I mean, we could have them come give a presentation as well.
Let's do it.
Well, both yes and no. Yes, it's good to be checking with others to see what their proposal is. And no, we're not required to do so because we're not expending any money, right? So I would say, you know, we probably should bring them in as well and give them a chance and see what the differences are.
I just hope that we're mindful on trying to be local, even if it's just a small savings or something like that, especially with people who invest in their communities.
Right.
There's a lot of legwork that's
Yeah.
involved in this. Moorfield has spent quite a bit of time looking over the different buildings, looking through our electric usage and putting numbers together. So it is not a simple process, and they have done a considerable amount of legwork. And the other company will have to do the same thing. So it will not be a real quick turnaround, I don't believe, on getting something.
I do like the idea that they have done several other projects in this area. So that's.
Yeah.
They've got a track record for what they're doing.
Yeah, the reason for bringing it up in the workshop tonight is just to see where the council wants to go and how we move forward. Asking for the facilities committee, that's what I was wanting to try to sit down and get questions answered, but I'm sure other people, and Chris, she did send questions and we have those saved. But if bringing them back to the council to meet with you and discuss it would be the option you want to go with, that's what I'll do. I'll set it up. And
Madam Mayor, do we have, when we reorganized, and I didn't bring that paper, sorry. When we reorganized those committees, is there still a facilities or is it all wrapped into like one now?
No, there is a facility.
It is facilities. Okay, got it.
I'm sure that Moorfield would like to discuss it with the council on account. We're the ones got to make the decision.
absolutely.
Great River Regional Waste just went through this but went into it extensively. But he's the one that gives the proposition. Now they have investors
Right.
that will buy it. And we
That's
pay them.
what this is going to be. This is going to be an investor. Moorfield is just kind of the middle man,
Yeah,
the way
yeah,
I
he gets
understand
paid
it.
right off the bat.
Yes.
But the investors get paid, and then I'm sure there's an interest there. because they're going to get, where you're going to pay for the electricity, plus you're going to pay them for buying it.
No, we'll pay a 25-year agreement. We'll agree to buy the electricity. This is my understanding, buy the electricity that those solar panels produce. No matter whether we use it or not, that's my understanding. And that's what I think they need to come back and, like I said, answer these more questions better. I would be more comfortable if you all as a council could hear the presentation and be more comfortable other than one or two staff members bringing you information. Because like I said, this is a 25-year commitment that the city is going to go with. Now there is a buyout in there. We need to discuss all that, but I tell you personally, I'm not comfortable making that decision on my own. Let's put it that way.
That also, part of that conversation ought to be with our electric supplier. That we're looking into this, we're going to do this.
Yeah. There's a lot of pros to it, but there's, some questions too that I think need answered before we would commit to that. So
If we could, before that meeting happens, could we have a list compiled of the questions? Because I know there's been several people that had said they had lists. Can we get them all put together in one and distributed so that we can all?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right now, only Councilmember Crenshaw has submitted any questions.
okay, we'll get something set up.
Okay, anything else? Item number 3 is discussion on compost and recycling.
So I've got two parts here. The first part, I sent an email just a little bit earlier today showing a couple pictures here for you all to look at. If somebody doesn't have it, I think it should show up on your email.
I've got it on the screen, Robert.
Yeah, perfect. So if you recall, during our budget sessions, we discussed purchasing a recycling truck, and that truck was estimated around $130,000, $130,000 that we don't have. So we still have the same safety concern that I've talked about as far as the height of this truck, the employees having to get the recycling and the compost into the back of that truck. We still need to address that. Whether we have the money or not, we still need to find a solution to that problem. So we have a dump trailer, and for the last 4 days, we've been putting 2 employees in the truck. They do the recycling route the same way we had talked about if we'd buy a Packer truck. I wanted to show you an illustration. The trailer is a foot shorter on the side as far as the height that they have to reach into. The doors open on the back, which would make it considerably shorter, which 2 foot 4 inches from the ground to that. You have 2 employees working together, so if they have a heavy container, something that's more than what one guy should be lifting safely, 2 of them are there to do that. I've had several phone calls of people asking, why are we pulling a trailer around? Why are we not loading the truck? And so that's the reason I, more than anything, wanted to bring it to the council so that you're aware of what we're doing. We're trying this out to see if it's going to work. So far, I've been pretty pleased with it. Is it the perfect solution? No. I still would like to go with a Packer truck at some point in time, but this is better than what we have been doing, in my opinion. I'll give it some more time. Maybe we'll see some more downsides to it and we'll say no, but the other part of this will be, this trailer is not the trailer that we will continue to use. We bought this trailer for other purposes, but to try this out and not cost any money, that's what we're giving a trial run with.
How have your employees felt using the trailer?
What's that?
How have your employees felt using the trailer?
It's change. I'll just tell you that.
Okay.
I gotta commend you, Robert, for this, because I, for one, was not in favor of spending the money for the new recycle truck. And for you to come up with a solution like this, I commend you for it, for working with what we have. because of our financial situation with the city. So thank you.
Thank you. Bob has been very instrumental in helping me with this also. He's on board with it, and we're looking at all options. If we do go this route, I will be coming and trying and asking and try to find, we're probably looking just a little under 14,000 to buy a trailer that would be the same height, the same width, but would be 2 foot longer than what this trailer here is. They would look identical to it other than just have 2 foot more length to it.
That's better than 165,000.
Yeah. So,
On a typical day with picking up recycling, how many trailer loads would they be filling? With
on a
this
typical day, it's
example?
probably 4. They make 4 trips out. This trailer right here, if you was to figure up the cubic yards, is probably not holding a whole lot more than what the dump truck would hold. The bed is deeper. They would used to pile it up a lot higher on the ton truck. And that's why I put this second picture here. You can see the employee actually reaching into it. So if you look up here and see this truck, he couldn't do what he's doing, with that truck. The tarp has a bar across here, and so each one of them can get on the side, pull the tarp back. They can cover part of the load as they're picking up more. So on windy days, we don't have the recycling blowing around like we did before. You can see the arm on this truck. So when it comes up, it's either all the way closed or all the way open. The trailer does not have to be that way. It can be a third, a half, 3/4, so on and so forth. So like I said, it's been a change for them. But I think that we can make it work and like I said, not spend the money that we had originally thought we might have to. So then we also are asking, Pam and I have discussed here, we have an ordinance that states it's 5.28.030 in the yard waste collection. That it says during peak leaf drop periods as designated by the city council, up to 10 yard waste bags will be available at the street department to each owner of 1 family dwelling, 2 family dwelling, or commercial housing complex at no cost. We do not have those bags. I've been here over 2 years and we have not implemented that.
We have not done it since the fire. I think that we had them, we had the fire, and it just kind of was something that I think everyone forgot about. But it is in the actual code, and it also says that bags would be available and sold at City Hall. So that's something that we wish the council would decide whether we want to continue to do that, to give individuals yard waste bags at no cost, or just take it out of the ordinance.
What are the costs for those? Do we have any idea?
I do not. I have no idea what they were.
We have not priced them. We can get a price on them if you like. Right now, most of your local businesses, Walmart, Hy-Vee, Farm and Home, Gate City Seed, maybe, I'm not sure on them, but there's several places in town that do sell them, and I believe that they're maybe $2 or $3 a piece, something like that.
I just bought like 4 of them for $2.75. So
Okay.
it's pretty inexpensive. I personally don't know that it's a necessity to have. Seems like another responsibility that the city has to maintain.
For us to store them,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would
think
agree.
At the time they came up with the ordinance, we were requiring that,
you couldn't burn.
well, they were actually Lee County yard waste bags. So they had to specifically purchase that type of bag. Now it can just be any type of bag that's by, yeah. So I think that was one of the biggest reasons that they actually had that in there. And that was 2013 is when that was actually put in there.
I agree with Councilman Garcia and Councilman Crenshaw. I could be okay with removing it.
Okay.
Did we have to turn any citizens away because we didn't have the bags?
Someone called the other day, that's kind of why I was just wondering if we did it wasn't brought up that they were, that they were free. They were just wondering if they could purchase them.
Okay.
We, of course, didn't have to.
Okay, item number 4, no parking on the corner of 20th and Fulton.
I was contacted by the high school at the corner of 20th and Fulton. This is down by the building where we was having our council meetings prior to coming here. When the buses pick up and drop off kids at the middle school, if a car was coming up Fulton Street and a bus is coming from 20th and going around the corner, it kind of gets bottlenecked. And you can see in this picture here that there was a car parked there then. When they first approached me about this, there was a car parked in just about that same area. I visited this area several times to watch the buses come and go and watch traffic come and go. The car was sometimes there and sometimes it wasn't. The area that I've highlighted, and I've got a better picture than what I sent you all the first time, but there's a fence where there's a retention pond at the corner of the school's property. That's where we're talking about ending it, and it would start over in front of the school building there. This would be from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday. So football games, any events at the middle school, it wouldn't affect that. I did go talk to the homeowner at 1916 Fulton Street, and she grinned from ear to ear saying that she thought it would be a great idea. We would leave enough area between the no parking sign and the beginning of their driveway for them to park one vehicle in there. The people across the street all have ample parking as far as I'm concerned. I've spoke
Robert,
with,
did we speak to the people across the street? Because that is, I would walk that in the mornings.
Okay.
And there was usually more than one car there.
okay. I did not talk to the people across the street, no, and I can go back and do that.
I did speak with them, and they said that the only thing they asked was where the no parking would be in relation to the fire hydrant there. They said if it didn't go out further than the fire hydrant, they had absolutely no problem with it. They said actually for themselves, they'd be fine either way, but they thought if it extended further than the fire hydrant, it might make it difficult for other houses in the area.
It would probably, I'm just going to rough guess, it would maybe be at the most 10 foot past the fire hydrant. That's what we was going to allow enough parking for one car
Sure.
there. So if somebody
Yeah.
did need to park
But when
there-
I talked to the people across the street, their concern was for the people on the other side of the street. So it didn't seem
Okay.
like they thought it would encroach on them
Okay.
at all.
Yeah, and she had no issue at all across
Okay.
the street, so. I spoke with the police chief. He went over and looked at it with me. He had no issues with it also. I just
And the
wanted-
car that's parked there, like in the picture, is the person that you're talking about, right?
I really couldn't tell you whose car that was parked there.
At times, there's an out-of-state license plate that parks there.
Yes. I probably made 4 trips there, and on the occasion that I went up and talked to the people at 1916, they had 2 vehicles parked there of people that was at their residence. The other 3 visits, one time there was no vehicle there, and probably the 2 other times there was 1 car parked there. Now, where they was, whose house they was at, I couldn't tell you.
Yeah.
Like I said, the time would be from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m., so,
At night, they can still park there.
right. It's just, the buses, I can see where it can get tight when the bus comes around the corner.
Well, hearing that the school would like it and that the residents that all live right there don't have any issues with it, I don't have any problems with it then.
Well, if there is no opposition to it, then I'll make out a resolution.
Go
Then we'll
for
bring
it.
it back to the council and,
That's fine.
okay. All right.
Anything else, guys? Okay, item number 5, we can review the council meeting agenda.
Talk a little bit about the, what we're going to vote on tonight as far as the UTV ordinance. A lot of people, I think, are confused from the people that I've talked to that have called me and emailed me and texted me about what is going to be legal and what's not. People are confusing a four-wheeler with a UTV.
Right.
And the best way that I can explain it to them, if it doesn't have a steering wheel, it's not legal.
That is probably the best way to explain it. The way I do it is a UTV will have seats, side by sides. It'll have 2 seats. It'll have a steering wheel, have a roll cage. Whereas an ATV is a 4-wheeler or a 3-wheeler motorcycle.
And I know we have a problem within Keokuk right now where people are riding these illegally. They're, they rip up and down the alleys and you'll see them on the streets occasionally. And by the time our police get called and then they respond, they're gone. So people get frustrated with that and they think that the ones that are confused think that this is what we're making legal and we're not. They're 2 different
Correct.
different animals. So
Correct.
I just wanted to clarify that for the public to know that that's not what we're doing. They're how you explained it as well.
I think that's something that maybe we need to do more public information.
Yeah.
Just to get it out. So if this is passed tonight, it's not going to start until 10 days after it's published. So, we'll make
That
Yeah,
Yeah, Joe, pictures.
I even put a picture on my Facebook page of what a 4-wheeler was and what the side by side was, so people would know the difference. This one's not legal, this one is, so.
Would it also be possible if we are gonna, give them more information to include and make sure to stress that it's the 1-year trial period? Because a lot of people that have called me and they're not in favor of it, I want them to understand that if it does pass and there's a lot of issues with it, that we are going to be looking at it and reviewing it after a year. And this isn't going to be like a forever thing if there are issues. So I think if we stress that, it might help calm everybody down a little bit, maybe.
Agree.
Okay.
Did I? Yeah.
Yes.
I did see something, not on I don't think it was on the application, but it's probably in the ordinance where it talks about like to renew. It talks about doing it before a certain date. My worry is that if we have the sunset clause and people are trying to come in and renew, of course I don't know if we need will that be a time where we come back here and we're like, hey, we'll do 2 weeks or this month or whatever?
Well, here's what it is I believe that probably in order to pass the 3rd readings and have adequate discussion on it, that we're going to start the process early February, if not late January,
Okay.
to have an evaluation on the ordinance and see how the council wants to proceed.
I just don't want staff to accept that until we're ready, and then we have to refund money or something. I don't want to get into all that. Does it have a date though? I thought it had a date of at June 30th. So then it's still not April to June. Okay.
Correct.
I just want to make sure if we do renew, if we do decide that they have that time where that part of the ordinance works out. So I just want to make sure it's done correctly, if we could relook at it.
Do we think that,
Thank you.
that's too much lead time though, by the time if we pass this tonight, when does that go into effect?
And that's,
You gonna make them wait another month? Or-
no, what it is the ordinance will not go into effect for 10 days. Then they have to come in and get their permit. And that, we've got some procedures on that through the police department where they have to make an appointment during certain times. They have to bring their vehicle in and they have to have it inspected so that we know that all the equipment is on there and all the equipment actually works. And then they're issued their permit, cash and check only, no cards.
So, I was just wondering if I heard July, and it seems like.
No.
it was a month there.
No.
Okay,
Well, we'll as soon as this passes and the 10 days is up,
okay.
we can start. Yeah.
Temporary now that, when I go to my GPS, so we'll give out the ordinance, maybe make some bullet points on the ordinance, to make sure that the more important information is, just readily available, that they don't have to read through a bunch of stuff.
Just seeing pictures, having the ordinance, having the visuals that
You guys pass it, I'll work on that next week. All right? Oh, I'm sorry, if you pass it tonight, I will make sure it's on there next week.
Well, one thing's for sure, we're not going to make a perfect ordinance. We're going to have to see how they treat it, how it works, and go from there. If 60 days from the time this date is up, we ought to review it and say, yeah, we're going to renew it then, not wait till the last minute to renew it and have people coming in and wanting to sign up. You can't sign up 60 days prior to the date, and we have to make a decision 60 days prior to the date, whether we're going to extend it.
Well, like I said, Councilmember, we'll start this process late January, early February of next year in order to review and have the council decide if we're going to move forward with a renewal or revoke the ordinance.
Got a different question on this. Since it looks like we're going to do this winter with the ones that are equipped with snowplows, are those going to be legal to use to push snow with on sidewalks and driveways, things like that?
There is an ordinance already in, ATVs are allowed to do snow removal. So, and that's the reason that ATVs are even mentioned in this ordinance. It's just, wanted to make sure that those people were allowed to go ahead and do their snow removal, but we have that someplace in here, Dan, on the snow removal part. It's not in the ATV ordinance, but it's in streets and sidewalks, I believe.
No, you'd have to wait. You'd have to wait.
Anybody else wants to review anything on the agenda tonight? If not, I guess we can
Can I
take a
ask-
break.
Can I ask just one question?
Sure.
Concha with Regional Planning did contact me, and she just wanted to make sure that the council was okay with Plan B for crosswalk proposal on these, the streets. She was here last council meeting on the healthy community design regarding bicycle paths. Scratched that idea, and they came up with Plan B, which would be to propose temporary crosswalks around schools and parks instead of the bike lanes, Crosswalks would be a complete street demonstration and would help kids on bikes, pedestrians cross the street safely. We propose zebra crossing at the intersections with no stop signs. This would alert drivers approaching to slow down. So is everybody okay with that or not?
So is that,
Can I have a list? Is she gonna, I just want to make sure it's not all on like one side of town. I was thinking like, I know I spoke last time on Rand Park and how I thought we could connect North 7 or Park Lane to Rand, and then on the other side from Grand or Rand to Grand, sorry.
I will get those for you and I will email them to you.
But I'd also like to see Kilbourne over there,
Mhm. Okay.
very specific.
She
I mean,
just has
there's
parks
a
in
lot.
school, so.
I just
yeah.
want to know. I'd like
Okay.
to see a list.
so everybody understands the proposal that instead of bike lanes, that we're going to try temporary crosswalks at certain places to see if that helps facilitate pedestrian movement?
I will get you a list.
Anything else? So if you want to take a break, here we go.
But that's fine. I just wanted to thank you. Appreciate it. For a little by accident. Yeah, I remember when we started.
Clarissa?
We doing good.
Joel, right? I did.
You better hope you pass inspection then, or they'll be watching you drive it back home. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
But if you, I'll be here to support you. I think. No, I know. That's what Pam says. I have to sit in Dean Hinton's seat.
That trailer. Turn that in. And the guy did a wonderful job back in that trailer. Done my house. So we've got. I started using but
like in that instance, back up something.
I was watching, because I couldn't believe it. I'm watching from, not quite the bridge, look, all the way up. Boy, he's staying right in that lane.
I really wanted to drive backwards,
Let me get feedback. This is just nuts. Daniel doesn't do stuff. And we do it. But he's there every 2 weeks.
Yes, so 1 week it'll be compost.
South of the house, pretty close to where it's so, gotta get rid of it. Kid, I want some bags.
So that's where you live right there. No problem.
So it can't get rid of that property. Almost half. And almost.
What did she get done?
What's Peter? Because he's done some work for us. And he had Lenny Myers do it. That's from the other side. That's from her property on the other side. Why would he on the road? So I gotta find out how many trucks drive. See all that inside there? That's solid rock. That's right in Daniel. No, and it's coming down. Just past the house. This way. And then the rest is going to be some drive. He's really broken up. Go further down. The house it's in a flood. They actually, 12 feet up. But then it drops off. So, and on the other side, a lot of that's water. I think there's $6. The Jack Smith, somebody else, three people in the so, along the walk middle to the bridge. So, that was one of the reasons I wanted to these charges. I wanted to be able to drive it. I wasn't going to walk. But yeah, that worked out good. Once we took, there were some trees in the creek, which they pulled out with that excavator. That's probably what you see going by, you see trees on this side. Those have actually fallen in the creek and blocked. So we had to pull that out. Right. And we cut part of that corner off. It was a 90-degree turn right to the house. Cut that back 10, 15 feet. And took the trees out. So it's not as radical a turn up walking out.
I wondered if we should have done, she called and I went out and looked at it.
Yeah. Well, we had an engineer do it. Yeah, it was engineered. That has actually, that creek is actually moved in 20, 30 feet in the last 20 years. So, I mean, we had to stop it, take the house.
Good evening, everybody. This is the Agenda City Council meeting, April 21st, 2022, 501 Main Street, 6:30 PM. We're calling to order and we'll stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item number 3, roll call.
Crenshaw,
Here.
Altai, Garcia.
Here.
Nguyen,
Here.
Hellenthal,
Here.
Andrews, Marsden,
Here.
Bryant,
Here.
Greenwald.
Here.
7 present.
Item number 4, mayor's correspondence. If you are out and about on Saturday night, Catholic schools here in Keokuk have Showboat Saturday. It starts at April 23rd, and it starts at 4:30 PM. On Sunday, there's a concert at the Grand. It's the Long and Winding Road, and it's Sunday, April 24th, 7:00 PM. And I'm sure it must be about the Beatles. Anyway, and number 3, we have Tombstone Tune-Up, Saturday, April 30th at 8:00 AM at the Oakland Cemetery, and that's a great place to go to help clean up old stones and get things going good in the cemetery. The Historic Preservation Commission met today and is up and going and will be running, and they have 3 projects. One of them is the Bowden House. Another is a history of the National Cemetery, the Civil War Cemetery, and the Half-Breed Track. And they are going to look into one of the buildings out at the National Cemetery that maybe we could grab a hold of because it's a historic building. Remember to eat, drink, and shop local. And with the weather coming in and the nice days, and you'll see a lot of our city workers out there, the people from sanitation and wastewater and sewer, parks, streets, fire, police, bridge, waterworks. I hope I didn't miss anybody, but thank them for their service because it's going to be time for them to be doing everything they have to do to make our city a better place to. So be sure to say thank you. Don't holler at them. Item number 5, citizens' request.
Madam Mayor, I would just like to, as a citizen, thank the Keokuk Fire Department. At a property I had yesterday, there was a fire and they showed up and the structure was saved. So I want to say thank you publicly to them. And then also I want to point out that there was a young man at the residence, and with his quick wit, he knew to call 911 immediately. And so due to his efforts and the fire department, the home was saved. So just want to say that publicly for everyone.
Any more citizens' requests? Can you come up to the microphone, please? Well, by golly, we'll help you. Okay. We'll help you out. Tell us your name.
Jim Lemaster. And I don't know if I'm even supposed to be doing this, but at the corner of Athens Avenue and Middle Road, that intersection, there's a house there with shrubbery that you can't even see. When you stop at that stop sign, there's no way that you can see oncoming traffic from either, you'd have to get clear out in the street to see up the hill towards the old. And that shrubbery is from the poles to the highway. I mean, it's in what I always considered city property or whatever.
Right away.
But it's so overgrown there that you can't, when you stop at that stop sign, you can see the very top of the hill, but you can't see, and somebody's gonna get a motorcycle or somebody's gonna get hit right there, because there's no way you can see around that shrubbery there.
So that's,
You gotta come clear out in the street to even,
that's Athens and Middle?
yeah, Athens and, yeah.
In Middle, and it's the house on the southeast
Yes.
side?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll make sure the person that needs to know that, we'll tell them. And thank you for your concern. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Okay, we're going on to item number 6, consent agenda. Minutes of the council workshop and regular city council meeting of April 7th, 2022. Cash receipts and treasurer's report for March 2022. Resolution approving a liquor license for Black Cells LLC at 1324 Main Street, Class C liquor license with outdoor service and Sunday sales, effective May 1st, 2022, pending DRAM. Resolution approving a liquor license for Hy-Vee Gas. Sidewalk display permits for 2022 to 2023 for Phases and Rascals Pub and Grub. Special events permit for Southern Cherry Company, 150-year celebration for employees and customers to be held at Victory Park, and alcohol provided Wednesday, September 21st, 2022, from 4 to 10 p.m. Setup and tear down will be September 21st, 7 a.m., September 22nd at noon. Motion to pay the bills and transfers listed in the registers number 5266 to 5268. Motion to approve the agenda, including the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
The cider and cherry celebration, does that warrant or police presence?
If they have alcohol within the park, yes, they're required to have police officers, and they're aware of that.
Okay, thank you.
Any more discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item number 7, now is the time and place for a public hearing on the amendment to the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2022 budget. A public hearing notice was published in the Daily Gate City on Friday, April 8th, 2022. I am opening the public hearing at 6:37.
The amendment formalizes the re-estimates approved as part of the fiscal year 22-23 budget. As required by state law, a public hearing must be held prior to consideration of the amendment.
Any more comments? City Clerk, do we have any written comments or objections that you have received? There will be no further comments or objections on this matter, and I will close the public hearing at 6:38. Motion to approve. Consider resolution amending budget for the fiscal year ending June 20th, 2022.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Item number 8, motion to approve the third reading of the amended ordinance adding new chapter 9.90 regarding operation of off-road utility vehicles and golf carts.
Make a motion to move.
Second?
Any discussion?
Staff wants to point out is that even with passage of this ordinance tonight, we still have to go through the process of having a publication. So in reality, the ordinance does not become effective for 10 days after this evening. There are procedures, and we will announce those procedures on getting permits. Those will be done at the police department. I don't remember the times right now, but you do have to schedule an appointment so that they make sure that they have an officer there that can do the inspection before issuing the permit. We will also provide with the permit bullet points from the ordinance so that everyone is aware of the requirements. And we will also provide a map so that everyone knows where they can cross Main Street and what streets that they can and cannot be on.
And I did speak to Chief Hinton today, and he did, as of right now, it will be 8 to 2, Monday through Friday during their business hours.
I did want to make a comment about this. We talked about it in the workshop, as I've had a lot of people call me and that were not in favor of this ordinance. And mainly the reason was that they confuse an ATV with the UTV. The ATV is, as Cole explained it before, it's like a motorcycle with 4 wheels. It doesn't have a steering wheel. And the UTVs or the side-by-sides have a roll cage. A lot of them have doors, lights, a steering wheel. They're 2 different things. So I just wanted to make that clear that the UTVs are not a 4-wheeler, which are not going to be legal under this ordinance.
Any more discussion?
I'd like to say again that because I've had so many people that contact me about opposing it, that I will go ahead and consider, or I will go ahead and vote yes on this because of the sunset clause, and I hope it works out.
I also feel that way. The majority of my constituents would be using it for work. So I do have more positive than negative, but it's because of the sunset clause that it will work.
I had more negatives than positives for sure. So it was pretty clear that a lot of people in Ward 1 didn't want it, but then a lot of people also didn't realize about the sunset clause. So I'm hoping to spread the word more about that so that if it does pass, like I said earlier, if there's issues, then those people will be reassured we can change it later down the road.
And Cole, would you please explain again what the sunset clause consists of?
So within the ordinance, there's an end date for the ordinance so that if the council takes no other action on that date, the UTVs and the golf carts would no longer be permitted on city streets. Staff plans on beginning the evaluation of the ordinance in late January, early February of 2023, so that the council has plenty of time to take all the information under consideration and be able to move forward with, because you will have to pass a new ordinance, either extending the expiration date or making it permanent. So, and I know you'll want to go through three readings on that. So we will make sure that there's plenty of discussion ahead of that time and plenty of time to get the 3 readings in before the expiration date.
Thank you. I just wanted that clarified so people know what the sunset clause is, that this is a year trial.
Can we speak?
I'm Teresa Murray. I live at 15 Hilton Road Lane, sorry. One thing I want to point out, you all mentioned, you've heard from people. I emailed 3 of you and never got any response. So I'm just curious, do you check your emails, or maybe you just don't respond to them? I emailed at-large 2, at-large 1, and my 4th ward, and never got any response. So I didn't know if you don't look at your emails a whole lot or something, maybe just, weigh that odds there. I don't know if the people called you personally, but, just basically check your emails, because I just want, you had mentioned at the meeting the last time that you were hearing from people for it and against it. So I felt, because I'm for it, that I needed to let you know. So I emailed my, like I say, 4th ward and the at-large and the 1 and 2 at-large. So only comment I have.
Thank you. Any more discussion?
My name is Anthony Grossman. I live at 424 North 18th. I just want to make a comment why I'm in favor of it. I don't really care to ride around town on a side-by-side, but it does appeal to me so I can leave my house and reach outside of city limits. At this point, up to this point, I've been against buying one because I don't want to have to deal with loading on a trailer, leave my house just to go 5 miles outside of town to do something. Whereas if it's legal, I can just take off from my house and go somewhere. I'm not saying I wouldn't ride around town. If I wanted to run and grab some ice cream or something, it'd probably happen. But to be honest, I don't really care to just drive around town. So take that into the equation. I don't feel like there's probably going to be people that just cruise around town, not going to lie. But me, honestly, I just want to be able to leave my residence and be legal to take off and do something. I haven't bought one yet. I've been waiting on this deal to see if it goes through. I know there's some people hesitant because they're worried, okay, it's going to be good for a year and then it's going to be nixed. And then, like, if I bought one now, I've got one and I can still use it. Load it up on a trailer, take it outside town. But said it's a lot more appealing if I can just hop in it, leave, instead of, I don't keep the trailer at my house. I'd have to go get the trailer, bring it home, load it up. So it's just kind of a pain to be able to do that. So just wanted to share my opinion on why I am in favor of it. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think that you bring up a good point. I
Yes.
mean, now you're like maybe the 4th person I know that may be getting one, but I think if you ask your friends, there's not that many people. In 10 days, you're not going to see 400 UTVs on the street. You're going to see one if you're in the right place at the right time, sort of thing. So I don't think that it's going to be masses of UTVs.
I also think, your statement is exactly what I've heard a lot of from people in my ward when they've reached out about specific, maybe not to work, but leaving their house to go to their hunting ground, like just being able to go straight to that. Heard a lot about hunting. Yeah, so a lot of hunting and being able to do that and not having to pull it on the trailer has been what I've heard a lot of. So I thank you for your opinion. Thanks for coming up.
And one of the issues that you brought up is, I've heard too, that people don't want to buy one and then a year later they can't use it. So that's kind of a drawback to this sunset clause, because that's a big investment. And then after a year,
Like I said, it's still usable. It's not like, but it's just not as.
yeah, if you bought one specifically for in town though, for the people that are going to cruise around, then a year later you can't use it. That's a big investment. So
I've heard the same thing in the last couple of days, and it's actually golf carts. Guys rent golf carts because they don't want to trailer them to the golf course. And that's what they're saying. If this passes, they only live 5 blocks, 10 blocks from the golf course, and be able to take it to and from. So like I said, I'm not saying I'm against it. I'm just saying I had more people that were against it contacted me, and I hope it works out, and it'll be good.
With all that being said, we'll have a roll call.
Crenshaw,
Aye.
Garcia,
Aye.
Nguyen,
Aye.
Ellenthal,
Aye.
Marsden,
Aye.
Bryant,
Aye.
Greenwald,
Aye.
So with that, we need a motion to adopt and give final approval.
So move.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Item number 9, motion to approve the initial reading of an ordinance amending Title V Health and Sanitation of the Keokuk Municipal Code by removing automatic abatement fee for nuisance abatements. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
Pam?
This is more of a legality from the Iowa Code. We already have, it actually, all we're doing is removing an automatic $50 abatement fee will be charged to the property owner, plus the cost to the city for removing snow and ice for the first offense. Second offense is 75. The actual part of our code that says this, the cost of abatement may be assessed against the property owner for collection in the same manner as property tax abatement cost shall include the cost of removing or eliminating the nuisance, the cost to investigate such as searches, inspections, and testing, the cost of notification, filing cost, and other related administrative cost. So that's already in there. This will just remove the 50 and 75, and the section that's already in there will be able to charge exactly the amount that administratively we spend on having the nuisance abated.
What typically is that, Pam?
I'm sorry?
Typically, on average?
I'm going to say that, and this does not include your mowing cost, so the contractor's cost. I would say that it's probably, by the time Casey gets done with mainly all the investigation, letters sent, time on the phone, it's probably $100. So I would guesstimate that, we're not probably charging quite enough on these fees that are actually stated in here.
I see.
Any more discussion? We'll need a roll call.
Crenshaw,
Aye.
Garcia,
Aye.
Wynn,
Aye.
Ellenthal,
Aye.
Marsden,
Aye.
Bryant,
Aye.
Greenwald,
Aye.
Do I have a motion to waive the second and third reading for this ordinance?
Second.
I'll second it. You're first.
Any discussion on that? Okay, so we need a roll call there too.
Crenshaw,
Aye.
Garcia, Wynn,
Aye.
Ellenthal,
Aye.
Marsden,
Aye.
Bryant,
Aye.
Greenwald,
Aye.
And now I need a motion to adopt and give final approval of that ordinance.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item number 10, consider resolution setting the Keokuk Aquatic Center rates for 2022.
So moved.
Robert?
We're requesting to make all the parties the same price, be $175 every day. Shorten the pool hours from 7 to 6. This would allow pool staff time to maybe eat supper, take a little break before they would have a party. Party times would be from 6:30 to 8. Currently, it was 7 to 8:30, and then 8:30 to 10. And so we're going to go to just one party per night instead of having the two different times. A lot of that has to do with staff. We're struggling to get enough staff just to do one party, let alone add two in there. Then raise the age for minors to have an adult with them from 8 years old and under.
To 10 years and under.
10 years old and under. I might have made a mistake on that. I thought we was going to go to 9. There's a mistake on that. It should be 9 and under, not 10 and under. We'd just be raising that age 1 year.
I think this is good. We talked before that it was like not even cutting the actual cost of leaving it open for the party. I think that it's a reasonable amount. If you're going to rent just a room at a fun place, you're looking at 300 or more. So
And all it really
I think
done,
it's
we
in
didn't
favor.
change Saturday and Sunday, Friday and Saturday. We didn't change that price. It's just
Does that cover the cost though?
barely. So I'm going to tell you probably somewhere in the near future, within the next couple of years, we'll probably have to ask for a little bit more of an increase to cover the costs as things go up. But, you know,
How has the booking schedule been on parties? I know in years past, you had to maybe book a year in advance to get a time slot. So with eliminating an entire time slot, do we anticipate problems?
we have not,
being able to book?
all last year, they didn't have 2 parties a night because we do not have the staffing levels.
Okay.
I think that they had a considerable amount of parties last year. Why I'm managing that, I don't really see that as much as we did before, but I know we did not have 2 parties at all last year just because if you figure staff comes in at noon, try to get them to stay till 10, or try to get somebody, to come in there, it's pretty difficult, so.
Okay.
Cole, do we need to amend then?
What's that?
Do we need to make a motion to amend that part then? Because it isn't correct on the,
I don't think you need to make a motion to amend that part, just the motion, because was it presented correctly it was not?
it reads, I thought it was, but it reads, unsupervised children be changed to 10 years old, parentheses, children 9 and under must be accompanied by a person 16 years of age or older. And what I'm hearing you say is that you want it to be,
9 years of age and younger have to be supervised.
okay, so it is correct.
Oh, it is correct. It's correct in there. I read it wrong when I did the PowerPoint then.
Okay.
Any more discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item number 11, consider resolution designating the standard of life insurance carrier for the city of Keokuk. Motion to approve.
Table this one. Did we get quotes from others? I know that there's a union in town that also offers health insurance and life insurance. Were people offered to give quotes for this?
We did not. What it is through our pool, they do the quoting process for us. So they go out to the different health and life insurance aid companies in order to get the quotes. What I will tell you now is that if we wanted to get a quote for either health or life, that we may not be able to get the process all done, because we would have to get everybody to have forms submitted with their histories and the applications. The time that we would take bids should really be in December and January, because that's when they start doing the actuaries and the quotes.
So we should have taken bids.
Correct. If we wanted to do it, what it is at that time, when Mayor Richardson was here, he was working with Gene. We go through the insurance pool. What I will tell you is that because we're in the insurance pool, we tend to get better rates than through a single company, insurance company. Just simply because now what it is instead of our 100 employees, we have 6,000 employees, for example, that are within that pool. And you get better.
I know that the Teamsters have been able to beat a lot of area insurances. I just didn't know if we should look into that to save money.
Well, like I said, we certainly can, but the time to do that is really in December and January, because that's when their actuaries are getting their quotes.
well, then I feel like I'm okay with getting quotes or putting bids out. If it needed to go out in December or January and we didn't do it, then we should go ahead and do it the right way now.
What I'm saying to you is I don't know if we'll be able to do that in time to get everything in place.
That still shouldn't force our hand to lean one way as a council.
What I'm saying is that we can try this, but I would have to talk to our current pool agency and see if this is something that can be done. I can't tell you if it can be done by July 1, which is when the policy starts.
For forms from employer or from employees?
It's not only getting the forms, it's then getting the actuaries and getting the quotes, and then being able to get everything selected and switched over. It's not necessarily a quick process. You can get through it, but I don't know. I can't guarantee that we can have something in place by July 1. That's all I'm saying. I can't guarantee it until I talk to somebody.
Okay, Cole, tell me what would happen if we couldn't. Let's just say the worst case scenario happens, and what would happen? What would we need to do as a city? I mean, if this was not to pass and it
Well,
couldn't turn
what I'm
around,
going
what
to tell
would
you
happen?
is if this doesn't pass, we just go with the current insurance company.
Instead of taking bids.
Correct.
And then we open up bids.
Okay, so let me re-clarify that. Is if this doesn't pass, right, and we don't do anything else, we just stay with the current life insurance company.
Mhm.
Okay. Again, I can't guarantee you through this process of whether or not we would be able to complete the process by July 1.
Right. So then we would keep our current insurance as is, and then potentially revisit this at the right time in December of this
Correct.
current year.
Correct.
Is there a date that the standard needs an answer from us by? Can we, if we know that that's cheaper than our current provider, can we put that on hold like Rosalind was suggesting to see if we can get that other process done?
Because we already have the quote from them, we could table this, yes.
Okay.
I'm just not guaranteeing you that through a full process of health and life that we could have everything ready by July 1. I cannot guarantee that without talking to somebody. I know when I've done this before that it takes a little more time than just a week or so.
Drake Custer. I live at 1821 Fairlane. I also serve as the business agent for Teamsters Local 238. Just to speak on the point that was here, we do offer healthcare through Team Care. It's the same healthcare company that covers UPS, Aramark, Bimbo Bakeries. So our pool is quite large. I'm not an insurance salesman, not trying to be an insurance salesman, but we are available for a quote. So.
Well, then I motion that we table it.
Motion, is there a second?
Any more discussion?
I just want to say, sorry. I'm Monica Winkler, I work at the Keokuk Library, and I just want to say when you're discussing that, it just makes me a little scary because, and maybe this is not true, but if we end up on July 1st and we don't have life insurance or health insurance as employees,
no, we will.
We're not going to be happy.
No, that's what we clarified. That's what I clarified with him is we will have, we'll just keep the current and then come the right way.
So you're going to say, you're saying then that, yeah, if
And then come
we
in the
can't
right
get
way
something
to
together,
take
then we'll
bids.
stay with the same one.
Exactly.
Okay.
There's no lapse in coverage for employees. We're not, no
Okay.
lapse.
No lapse, of
Okay.
course.
All right. Okay. Sometimes it comes across that way.
No,
So
it's
I
okay.
just wanted to be sure.
Thank you.
So we have a first and a second. Any more discussion? So the first and the second was to table it. All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed? Okay. Item number 12, consider resolution authorizing an agreement with Kirkham Michael Engineering Services to inspect the 5 bridges. Do I have a motion to approve?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Item number 13, consider resolution approving distribution of preliminary official statement for $1,840,000, dollar amount subject to the change, general obligation capital loans notes, series 2022. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
One of the first steps in the issuance of the $1.8 million bond for the wastewater pollution control press project is development and release of the preliminary official statement. The POS is a financial statement required by U.S. Security and Exchange Commission.
Any more discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Item number 14, we open up to boards and commissions.
There are several votes that are required tonight, and I can take them as an omnibus motion. Grand Theater Commission, final notification, Joyce Sapp, term to expire 11/5/2025. Veterans Memorial Commission, resignation, vote required, George Morgan, with his term to expire 7/1/2022. There is a second notification on Veterans Memorial, a first notification on civil service, and a vote required for historical preservation for Leanne Schaefer-Smith with term to expire 9/1/2023. So again, I'll take an omnibus motion on all of those that require a vote.
So move.
Any more discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Item number 15, staff reports.
Staff, anybody have a thing? Go ahead, Tom.
I just sent out surveys, industrial user surveys for the pretreatment program. Everyone that I could find an email to, so they got those, and waste haulers too, because we include them in the pretreatment program as well. Just want to let y'all know.
Pam, do you have anything?
The only thing I have is to let the council know that I'm working with Jim Dennis on a couple properties that the city had development agreements on. These individuals did not follow through with their agreement with the city. So Jim has sent letters to one of the properties. I spoke to the other property owner today to let him know that we were probably going to, not probably, he would be receiving a letter, and he did not have a problem with deeding the property back to the city. But I want to do a lien check on that prior to getting the deed back.
Wanted to update the council on the cemetery cleanup. It's going better than I anticipated, not moving real quick, but it's not been as negative as I thought it would be. I've had some people call me that was not pleased with it, but they understood it. We still have a lot of items that need removed, so we wish for the families to go remove the items and not staff.
All right. Any questions for staff before I go into my report? Okay. Today, I submitted a grant application to the community project funding through Congressman Miller Meek's office. This funding is requesting federal funds for South 18th Street from 218 to the National Cemetery. Through some confusion, we did not realize that those were actually due by end of business tomorrow, but I was able to complete the application this afternoon. I am still waiting for some letters of support from some different organizations. Those can be sent to Miller Meek's office up until Wednesday of next week. So if there's some other support that I can think of, I'll get them to write a letter as well and see if we can't get those in. As most of you know, we received a downtown housing, upper story housing grant from IEDA. Staff is working on timeline. One of the first things is we do have to get official notice. Our notice was actually from Senator Reichman, but EDA has not sent the official letter. So until we get the official letter, we do not want to start soliciting proposals or anything. We don't want to get the cart before the horse. We know we're getting the money, but we just don't want to jump the gun on that. And also, I do need to speak with the Finance Committee after the meeting to arrange a time when we can set a committee meeting to review the third quarter financials.
Item 16, do we have any new business?
Madam Mayor, I do. Recently, all four of us, Councilman Crenshaw, Councilman Garcia, you, the mayor, and then myself, went to the Iowa League of Cities conferences. We attended either in person or virtually, those things. And some ideas came out of that I wanted to propose to council. Since I've been on since July 2020, we've changed locations. We now have this new beautiful building, and we are set up in a different way than we were in the original building versus at the school where we had to be set up that way, you know. And what I learned, or what we learned there, is that different cities have different rotations of seating at their council meetings or their workshops. I thought some of the benefits of rotating our seats could be, A, being able to hear one another. I know I struggle down here when some of our council members down there, just because of the way the room is currently. I don't think that was a problem before in our old city chambers, but now it just tends to be. So being allowed to hear each other, being next to different people, and then that different seating would allow us a different voting change. So each person, because it would be different, would be allowed to be the first person to vote on items that come across. Now, whether we do that at meetings or just maybe it's just workshops, but since we have workshops right before, or currently we're kind of deciding to do it right after, I don't think we're going to change seats for workshops. So it sounds like it's something that we need to do during a meeting. So I thought I'd bring it up to council to see, maybe ponder it and have your thoughts on it and have a discussion.
I like the idea. I know that sometimes when the first person goes, and this is not to you, but they can set like the tone, even if it was, you know, someone else thinks like, oh, they were voting my way or something. It just is a nice way to keep people authentic.
Another option is what has been done at other communities is that, so if we started this, Councilmember Crenshaw would start the vote, but then at the next meeting, Councilmember Altai would start the vote. And then at the next meeting, Councilmember Garcia would start the vote, so that you're not starting with one all the time, and that somebody always gets to start the vote and gets to end the vote at different times.
Right. The movement would allow us to be hearing and like those discussions. I'm sure I've sat next to the same people. I'm sure my predecessor sat next to the same and so on for a long time. Not that that's a problem. Love you, Roger, and Steve. But this is the only time that we have discussions. This is the only time that we kind of, I guess, get together. So moving around seems like an option. And I think it could be as simple as Celeste just puts our tags up. She just puts them up and you just sit where the tag is. That's just what it is that week. But it's totally up to council. I know we've been sitting this way in this direction for forever, probably. Another thing, while you guys ponder that, I wanted to take note is a couple of meetings ago, we talked about liaisons. I know Councilman Bryant brought up that he was the Great River Waste Liaison, and that he had kind of said like, oh, I wish I would have spoke on this. I'm going to speak on it right now. I thought we could maybe add that to our regular meeting agendas. So right before staff reports, we have liaison reports, then staff reports. So that way, any of the liaisons, whether that be Great River, if there's something to talk about, I know there's, just like staff, sometimes there's not. I'm sure just like liaisons, there won't be, but it'd be a nice way to give us opportunities that help us to remember to go ahead and speak on that for those organizations that we are representing or helping or a part of.
Any more new business?
Cole, this isn't exactly new business, but I was wondering, we had talked a couple of council meetings ago about bonding for more money for this, specifically for the streets. Do you have an update on that, or where are we going with that?
Well, the proposal was not for the bonding to occur until 2024, I believe.
We're not going to start that before,
Well, the bonding won't take that much time. What we need to start with is start doing a street inventory so that we can identify the streets and the condition and the repairs so that we can see how much $5 million, will go.
I knew we were going to do the street inventory, but I agree. I thought we were waiting for the numbers to come back on what the increase would be if we did 5.
You mean 5 next year or?
Like
Okay.
5 now.
Okay, so I didn't understand that. I thought it is what was presented that we were, and I think that Robert pointed out that even if we did 5 million next year, we still, because of having to do the street inventory and the
I think you said 9 months to 12 months to get
right.
started.
So
if
we could go fiscal year 23, 24, but we certainly can't do 22 and 23.
We just didn't have the numbers for what that would
Okay,
raise.
well, then I can rearrange the table to fit that schedule.
Yeah, that's,
When will the street inventory be started?
What's that?
When is the inventory going to be started?
That's something that we have to talk about.
Okay.
First, we'll need to do an inventory to see what we're wanting to do. Then an engineer is going to have to
Okay.
Right,
be
but
involved
what
so that
she's-
we
what
can
she's
come up with a
asking
cost.
is when we're going to get started on that, and that's something that we have to discuss as staff to get that going.
I'd like to do that.
yeah, I know that we'd had the discussion on, people think that we're going to do the worst streets first, but sometimes you have to save a bad street that's, in need of repair. I'll let you explain that because.
Right. So what it is if they're ranked from 1 to 5 with 1 being a perfect street and 5 being a lost street, what it is you're probably targeting the 3s and the 4s to start with, so that they don't become 5s, right? There's going to be people that are going to be upset because, well, my street's horrible. Why are you not fixing it? Well, because your street is to the point where we have to reconstruct it, where these other streets, maybe we don't have to reconstruct it and we can make the 5 million stretch farther.
one more thing from the Iowa League of Cities. We should be coming up on our goal setting meeting, I believe.
I have to look into that and find the facilitator.
Okay.
Any more new business? Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.